The bamboo answered first, in a hamlet outside Miryang. Before the widow finished speaking, the stalks knocked together behind her wall, though the air stood still. She lowered the wick with wet fingers, and said there was a name no one carried past midnight. Gumiho. I walked the Gyeongsang road in late autumn, when the paddies lay cut, and silver water held the moon in broken squares. Smoke from pine kindling drifted low over the dikes. Dogs stayed under porches. At the foot of the hills, shrine bells did not ring. Beyond Chungdo, the path bent through persimmon groves and cold burial mounds. Frost clung to reeds by the stream. A carter told me the fox favored months when breath showed white, because travelers looked down at the road and missed what waited above the bank. In those villages, they said Gumiho plainly only by day. The word joined Gu, the number 9, and Miho, the fox spirit. Old men in quilted coats traced 9 lines on their palms when they explained it, then wiped the gesture away on their knees. Farther north, I heard kumiho with the same dread, and the same animal beneath the syllables. In Chinese books, men pointed me toward huli jing. In older Japanese collections, fox women wore another name. The shape altered, the hunger remained fixed in every mouth. The first full account reached me in Yangsan from a paper seller whose grandfather had spoken of 1791. A scholar named Han lodged near a chestnut grove after the harvest rites. He heard weeping outside his paper door. The sound came thin as thread through frost. Han opened the door and found a young woman in white standing barefoot on the yard stones. Her sleeves were soaked to the elbow. She said robbers had slain her kin on the mountain road. The paper seller remembered one detail most clearly. She left no steam in the cold. He gave her a place by the brazier, but she never held her hands to the coals. Cedar smoke filled the room. She watched the iron pot, where porridge trembled, and asked whether he lived alone. And every answer came a breath late. Chickens would not settle. Dogs tucked their tails. Horses rolled the whites of their eyes toward an empty corner. There were smaller warnings too. A woman whose shadow bent wrong in moonlight. A face too smooth after tears. Rice wine left untouched, while the cup grew warm in her hand. In one hamlet, an old nurse said foxes forgot to blink when listening for heartbeats. No one called a lonely traveler indoors without naming 3 ancestors first. No bachelor slept with a woman met on the road. Mirrors were covered. Children were pulled back from windows. If laughter sounded from a field after midnight, shutters stayed fastened. The liver lay at the center of nearly every telling. Some said the fox must swallow 100 human livers to pass fully into humankind. Others said 1 liver from a pure-hearted scholar would do. The body changed in the stories. The appetite kept its shape. On Jeju, I heard a harsher strain. There the fox came down from Orem slopes in a widow's form, and lured fishermen sleeping by stone walls. She preferred market towns and the sons of minor officials. Island wind changed the setting. The mouth remained red. A monk near Gongju spoke of a fox bride who lived years with a household before discovery. She cooked well, bowed correctly, and never crossed the threshold during New Year rites. The grandmother learned the truth when moonlight caught 9 shadows moving behind a single skirt. One old woman in Andong refused the liver story entirely. She said the fox sought a human heart, not for eating, but for exchange. If she swallowed the heart and hid her tail, she could keep a household for a lifetime. Her daughters argued with her beside the mortar. The oldest Korean mention named to me in a temple lodging came through later retellings around Samguk Yusa and other learned compilations, where fox spirits haunted old halls and royal grounds. The monks admitted the lines were sparse. The smell of paste and old paper clung to them. For fuller shape, I had to follow scholars back to Chinese writings such as So Shenji, where foxes studied human habits, borrowed women's faces, and brought ruin into households by desire and deception. Korean tellers bent those older bones toward local roads, courtyards, and winter rooms. After many roads, I learned to listen less for marvels than for the ordinary things witnesses remembered. the cold seam of a paper door, millet husks under bare feet, a bowl left untouched.
Fear entered speech through such details, and sat there, without asking belief.
I left Gyeongsang with one thought that stayed longer than the mountain dust on my hem. The fox in these tellings wanted a human body, yet every witness remembered the moment some small habit failed.
What name do you not speak after dark? Type it once.